So you wanna play Bruce, but Eden is very expensive. Well, I understand. In the same case with Elden when I was making that video. But yeah, hopefully this video helps. So welcome back to another beginner's build. And well, here today we have a budget version of Bruce, which is I kind of modeled after a top tier deck. Well, Bruce is, I'll say, is top tier deck, but the ratios at least are based off what we can do with, let's say, a $16 budget or less. And the featured card today, and of course a key player in all Bruce decks in general, is Outwards Acrobat Marjorie. So this is the key to make even a budget deck work, as it's definitely a key rare card even the full deck. So what Marjorie allows you to do is run a full unit lineup, so cards like Brother's Soul can be totally taken out from the deck and be placed with more units. So from the start deck, actually cards like Brother's Soul actually help back the deck, as while you do get the soul, having units on the board for Bruce was rather more important, as most games actually run most games end by your second final rush turn, if you do play aggressively, that is. This deck list is actually based off having only one start deck. That's why you might see why will you max out Brody, but if you can get the 4th Brody, definitely give it. But Butcher can only give us 3 Brodies in one start deck and 3 vanillas for some reason. Yeah, basically a simple explanation is Bruce, we of course max it out. Then time featuring Fist Colossus. So Fist Colossus is a way we also endgame if you don't draw Marjorie. So Fist Colossus is a regular effect on place for charge 1. And if you're in Soul, and you're in Final Rush rather, combos 1, you can give it unit 15k power at the end of turn. So you see it's 28k, and during personal right turns it's 38k. Then with Bruce, since it restands, competing for this key number. You can use it early game to get the soul and just play aggressively, and then put it in soul later for Marjorie, or you can just save it for later in the game, as this card will hit harder than Marjorie in the long term, but only for the turn, but Marjorie is the most stable version. We do play both versions at kind of high amounts, as unlike the full Final Rush decks, we do not have Diablo's Boys Eden, which is another key card for Bruce, especially looking to play competitively. And because we don't have that, we are forced to play Diablo's Anger Richard, which is the card from the start deck. And yeah, it's just when you're Final Rush, it gets 5k. See, pretty okay. 15k attacker movable this turn. Eden is basically strictly better as a rare card, as it's basically has the same effect, but it also has the ability to retire when it hits anything, and it gets a crit when you restand. But as a card is expensive, you have to deal with it. Then for this version, I like to stick it to keep the ratios of 8 grade 2s, which I find is the most optimal for most Bruce decks at least in the early meta of Fortress. So yeah, we play 2 Electro Spartan to run out this lineup, as you can't play 4 Richard because one's in our right line, right? Then got the 3 Brody. So what Spartan does is it's actually the grade 2 right line for Baron Magnus. When you place on Regular Circle, on +1, you can soul charge 2 cards. This is another way to get soul, as basically you gotta think the way how to play a deck is you want to reach at least 2 charges of Final Rush, which is basically 10 soul. The right line guarantees you 5 soul already for the first charge. Then you need a way to think, how do I get another set of 5 soul? Yeah. So technically with Spartan and Marjorie, or Marjorie 2 times, and 1 random soul charge from let's say Colossus or Presenter. Okay, Presenter just 2 if you want Final Rush. Usually are able to meet the 5 souls rather easily, as basically every card in your deck, apart from Brody and Protoball and Sentinels, Pokemon with these 3 cards, every card in your deck other than these cards can soul charge. So beating the soul requirement is not really the problem anymore. We still play Brody because, and we don't run out of Spartan, is because Brody's shield is very valuable actually in the early game. As a Final Rush deck, you really want the extra defense to defend against, especially multiple attack decks, and even let's say the first Elden Swing for hitting for 20k. So this box is just nice 10k card. Then we do make sort on Presenter still. This is a way you can call out boosters to push damage early game, and it's a way to get soul. So once you're on Bruce, it charges 1. If you're on a Bruce and Final Rush, you soul charge 2. This effect is mandatory, however, so when you're playing later in the game, you can just play it as a rare card to suck in soul for Marjorie, as it's a way to maintain soul without overextending. Because if you boost Marjorie with Presenter, you usually get rid of 4 cards from your deck, which later in the game can really be what determines a deck count or not. Yeah. Then Protobulk Dragon with a skill attack or boost. When you final rush, combine to put another record to soul, and you can put any card in your soul back into your hand. So this way is a cheap, easy way to trade cards you play on the board for anything you might need in the soul. So when soul blasting with Bruce, do keep in mind to keep cards like Perfect Guard, Persona Rights, and even triggers to cycle your shield. So you can actually call out a draw trigger early game to meet skills, so then you can Protobulk to then refund something like a 15k shield, Perfect Guard, or even a key piece to end the game next turn. So with all that in mind, let's go back to Marjorie, which is the card on the feature. So Marjorie, when it attacks, with Final Rush, you choose a regard one of your other regards, put it to the soul, draw one card, full charge one. So this, yeah, is very key to maintaining soul, and also it does not cause Counter Blast. So your opponent will trying to damage down you for some reason. Yeah, this makes Bruce very undeniable even late into the game. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this cheaper take on Bruce. Of course, if you wanna buy, definitely cut Richard, this tree, and win one Spartan. You can play, then you play in Eden, which is the Diablos are talking about here. Which I'll put something like this. Then you can just put a 4 Brody in one. Then next up, I would say Recusal Head, which is the Great One Perfect God. Yeah, so you can just cut this one Recusal Head. Yeah, this actually is very solid already. Then from here, what you can choose after that is definitely to get some Steam Gun, which is this card over here. This card is actually very strong for Bruce Injured and Barrier Magnus, as it was Soul Charge 1 and Persona Regular Circle, and it's a way to get true card advantage in Dark States. So if you're looking to play Dark States for a long time, definitely keep up and take a note of this card, as I think this card will be used in multiple builds for Dark States. But if you're focusing solely on Bruce, definitely get Eden first, as it clearly will be a mainstay in the deck for a long time. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed this budget deck profile again. Yeah, wasn't that easy to make, but yeah, hopefully it make it work. Oh yeah, another quick point to make is definitely play more crits over fronts. It won't cost you too much to get a set of crits, as without Eden, if we play only Richard, right, we really need as much aggressive regards to push for game. So every damage counts in that regard. Yeah, so with that, that's the end of the budget builds, and I hope you give this deck a try if you wanna just get your hands into Bruce. Basically, the key point is get Marjorie first.